guys, and welcome back to another video. So we are going to be continuing with Monday still being the sketchbook type of videos. So if you guys haven't seen my community post, I think I posted on maybe Friday, I'm assuming. I did end up saying a little update that I am going to be reducing my videos from 3 times a week to 2 times a week. So I am going to be getting rid of Wednesday's video, which is like kind of slapped right in the middle of my upload week. Monday videos where I work in my sketchbook, and Saturday videos where I would consider like more of my regular videos, they're gonna remain the same. I'm just taking out Wednesday, and I talked a little bit about that during the little community post, but I'll be touching upon it a little bit today as we ramble through some thoughts. Kind of like what I mentioned earlier, today is Monday, so we are going to be working in my sketchbook for now. So all I'm doing is using some binder clips so we can keep our sketchbook laying flat. If it's too bright, but I think today we're just gonna do kind of like a normal real-time chattier video. And I wanted to break out using my Prismacolor Color Erase pencils once again. I believe I restocked on, I think it might have been the Carmine pencils, I think, recently, because I use my blue ones a little bit more slowly, but the red ones I've been using for like transferring for my watercolor paintings as well as just normal sketching. But I think it'll be fun to use them both today. Other than that, I have my little, I guess, container for like the pencil shavings, so that if we ever need to, I can just dump those into there. And then kneaded eraser as well for just general erasing. And then the last thing is I might use a water-based marker and or a ballpoint pen to embellish the sketch if I don't like how it ends up, or like how it. And then the last thing, I might use a ballpoint pen if I don't like the end result of today's little sketch. I don't have like an exact plan, but these colors did remind me of somebody. So let's go ahead. I might zoom in. We'll see. Maybe I will zoom in. It might be easier for you guys to see rather than being this far away. So I believe the last 2 weeks or so, I've talked about it mostly on like my Instagram stories and stuff. I've been watching a lot of like District V, which is like was a giant GTA RP kind of server. I might want to find something to prop up my sketchbook in the meantime. There were some characters that I got a little bit attached to in terms of like the RP and stuff, so I decided to check out the actual livers later, and I found 2 more livers that I've been a little bit more interested in potentially watching, just because I do find their humor and the way that they, I guess, conduct themselves very enjoyable. So I might be drawing one of them today. So I think what we're gonna do is start off with red, and then we'll switch over to blue, and we'll see if this meshes into more of like a purple look, or if I will use the blue to kind of darken everything up. A rough sketch, I guess. So the thing about the RP server for District V or District 5, whatever you want to call it, I was like mostly planning on watching one person, but obviously not everyone was gonna stream every day for their POV. But there was one person who I ended up watching for the remainder, because I mentioned in a different video that I watched mostly Albin for the very beginning of the server being started and stuff, and he was part of like the EMS. So I was very biased already to like the EMS kind of like perspective, the POV. And because of that, the people that I ended up like getting a little bit more attached to or ended up wanting to watch a little bit more after was also part of EMS. So there's like 3 in particular, I would say. 2 of them are from First Stage Production, which I know a lot of you guys are actually fans of, because I've been told to just draw some of the boys before. So the ones that I'm talking about specifically is Nayuta Umbridge, who played Na You Good. And he's the one that I ended up watching the most, because he did stream, I think, the entire duration. So, and he always streams his POV, so I did watch his a lot, and it was very enjoyable. So I might watch more of his stuff in the future, we'll see. I have to elongate the face. I always draw them very cutesy, not... So it's a very short face that I'm giving him. But the other one, which is the one that I'm planning on drawing today, we'll see how this goes because I'm already not liking my sketch, is the person who played Joe King in the RP server, which is Altus Zendoji. So his voice low-key gave me a little bit of whiplash because I'm not really super familiar, I guess, like with a lot of the FSP boys. The only ones I knew, well, I knew all of them or of them because a lot of my mutuals also follow a lot of VTubers, more of like the males, I guess. And because of that, I've always known about like their debut. I know what they look like, but I've never really heard them speak or talk enough for me to be like, yes, this is what this character or liver or whatever you want to call them sounds like. So I didn't think he would have a Australian accent. But there's like a few things that draw me towards like wanting to watch a liver. One is like obviously their content, what they stream, all that, and whether or not I enjoy listening to them like yap and talk, because I often put them into the background just to listen to while I work on things. And District 5 or District V was like a very good long live stream that I could have in the background while watching. So I was very productive for the most part for a lot of my commissions, which we'll get into in a little bit. But another thing is like their models. Their VTuber models, I feel like both Nayuta and Altus, I really like the aesthetic of their models. Like I find them very incredibly pretty. I don't know if it's because the screenshots or the kind of like things I see on Twitter of Altus, I always see him with like the sparkly eyes and it's so cute. Not gonna lie, some people might be like, of course, this guy's aesthetic might be up my alley. He's a little bit, has like a very small, subtle overlap with Danhong, just a smidge. But this guy is an Oni, and I believe Nayuta is a alien? Because one thing I never noticed from like briefly seeing glimpses of their models like in the past, I did not know his like rib cage, abdomen, and almost like chest area is all like translucent, which I think is such a cool design. But I always like enjoyed the fact that, like, how do I explain this? I think I briefly touched upon it from maybe last week's sketchbook page, because I think I drew Albin. And I think I did draw a little bit Joe, or like the character that Altus ended up playing. And the fact that like I wasn't too sure if I wanted to watch someone play in like an RP server, because I didn't know if it was the type of content that I was interested in. I know it's gonna be a little bit hard for you guys to see, but I'm drawing light on purpose so that we can throw in all the details, because two things. One, VTuber models have crazy amount of detail in general, and then two, if I'm not familiar with the character, it does take me a little while for me to draw them. But the thing I was saying is the fact that I wasn't too sure if like something like an RP server was gonna be, or RP content, I guess, would be something I was going to be interested in watching. I mostly only tuned in because I knew a lot of the VTubers going in, because there's a lot of indie, there was a lot of ones from like other agencies and stuff. But obviously having an Oshi that participates in it does give me a little bit of a incentive, I guess, to watch. And I always love when Albin is kind of like silly. But he's like silly and reliable, which is like something I really enjoy. Also, because this sketchbook isn't tilted, like upright, it's kind of only slightly tilted. I'm trying to keep my head out of the view because I recorded a video, I think a little bit earlier in the week, and my head was like going in frame every so often, or like my hair. Because like I said, I might dislike this sketch, so we might have to spruce it up. We'll see. I'm gonna slowly shift stuff to make it a little bit more ikemen rather than like cutesy. I should have done some like doodling sketches like prior of just this guy, because trying to interpret his model, making sure that I get certain details. It's kind of driving me insane. Also, I feel like his part's actually right in the middle. Having an Oshi that's like participating in like a big event, it's kind of nice because I feel like as long as you're comfortable watching like your Oshi, it does give you a little bit of an easier time watching like the entire event like that, because I can imagine people who are viewing it might feel overwhelmed the fact that they're not able to watch so many like POVs, or they might not get the gist of what's going on. But before, like I said many times, before I got like entirely off topic, the thing I was trying to get at is the fact that if you are kind of like tailored to one POV, because they're interacting with so many different like livers and characters, you're gonna find like new people to potentially Oshi later maybe you want to check out, because like maybe their character was super funny, or maybe you like the vibe of them or something. It's a little bit harder because of the RP, like you don't get the general gist or vibe of the specific person, because like I said, at least for Altus and his character Joe, they're not exactly the same person. So if you're like looking for something specific from the RP character, then it might not be from, or like you're not gonna find it maybe in the same liver. Because even if I don't end up watching them, I did find their characters and them in general very lovely to watch, at least during the RP server time. But the other thing I want to touch upon, because I didn't really go too in depth in terms of my thoughts of, or I guess the reasoning on why I want to cut back on my posts or like my uploads for YouTube videos, like very much just more specifically, because I kind of touched upon it in the community post. Time of probably posting it, I was probably too overwhelmed. But the general gist of it is the fact that I'm just too busy. I think I bit off a little bit of like more than I could chew. Is that the saying? But I overloaded myself a little bit too much with stuff that I needed to do for other people. And because of that, I am kind of spreading myself too thin in terms of trying to keep everything up. I always tell myself like, I feel like I'm pretty good with trying to keep up with all my deadlines, because I do sacrifice sleep, unfortunately, which is not good. The other thing I sacrifice is quality time with family and friends, which is also not like a good thing to do, because it does make me feel guilty, which is like kind of one of the things I wanted to talk about. Because I do almost always never say no. Other than I guess like with my friends, because with my friends it's like they understand that my general like anxiety in social situations, especially like social anxiety, I guess you could say, I tend to back out or say no to certain plans. So they're pretty much aware of it, but more recently we've been mostly doing like calls and gaming because we're all too busy to actually physically go meet up and spend like half a day with each other. But I guess like with friends, if something like comes up, I will always try my best to make it, but I always have to give like a tentative yes, just in case something else does pop up, and I do prioritize family first. So if my parents or like, you know, immediate family need something from me, I almost never say no or turn them down. One is because like I do want to spend time with them, and then two is because as bad as it, how do I explain this? Because technically it's a privilege, but also it's like I'm doing it in a poor way, if that makes sense. So because I work basically freelance, so the things that I do is YouTube, I do client work and I do commissions, and I do like, you know, you do merch in stores or conventions and stuff is kind of like primarily my source of income. So for me, I have the most flexible schedule, and because of that flexibility, I have spread myself too thin. The place that I could cut back on is the YouTube videos, I think, because it's giving me the most amount of stress, and I don't think I hit the point of burnout. I know some people are like, oh, be careful of burnout. I don't think I've hit that point with video making, just because the way how I approach it is mostly just that I want to share mostly process, as well as provide you guys with videos that you can potentially just draw along with or work alongside, that kind of stuff. So to me, it's not like difficult to do per se. It's just finding the time to slot it in, since, you know, video session recording can take like up to 6 hours. Sometimes I spread it across like a day or two, or like morning and evening. And because of that, I find less and less time to do other things. So the biggest kicker for me is the fact that I do have a convention at the very end of this month, which is March. The thing that's kind of like taking up most of my time, sorry, I'm just looking for a reference because I actually don't know what his hands look like. This reference is a little bit crunchy, so I don't know if it's just me kind of guessing that he has kind of almost like the fingerless gloves. But let me kind of like roll back a little bit. So the thing that's like taking up most of my time now, if I do cut back on videos, is commissions. And that's the thing that I think I ended up taking too much for me to handle, alongside with having to do video client work and making time for either leisure or like with family and friends. And more recently, plans with like family and stuff is always like very spontaneous. So it's been kind of throwing off my schedule a whole heck of a lot. I think you guys probably have noticed it last year especially. There was like times that, I think it happened 3 or 4 times, where there was weeks that I would skip, I think 2 uploads due to like, you know, unpredictable matters. Some other stuff were like health things or family things, or just, you know, some other things that would have to take priority, I guess. Or like for me, I would say it takes priority. I got a little bit too overwhelmed. And then when District V came out, it gave me a little bit of like relief, because I like full entirely locked in when I was consuming just that many live streams. I was mostly at my desk working on commissions, and luckily going through like a good batch of them. I don't even know how many. I think I have 4 sketch pages in progress. I have 2 chibis, and then I think 2 portraits, and then 2 photo cards. So how many is that? 4, I think 2, 2, and 2. Is that 10? I might have 10 ongoing commissions, which is not bad, but I think for the time frame that I thought I was going to be taking for them, I thought it was going to be faster. And I noticed that the reason why it's not as fast is because I keep splitting my attention everywhere. And my main goal is that I do want to get through the commissions first, because there's actually like people waiting for, you know, the art. So I do want to prioritize that as much as I can. But with District V, it did give me a little bit of like a break in my brain, at least a little bit. I don't know if it's because I fixated on something else, so I didn't think about the stress as much, which could be a bad thing because I'm not dealing with the problem. I'm kind of just like diverting my attention. Hopefully this is an okay angle. I feel like the entirety that I did the red sketch, it might have been a little bit too overexposed. Who knows? But we're switching over to the blue for now. This one keeps breaking, so I can't get like a super sharp point. We might have to switch to ballpoint pen a little bit later if this is a little bit too soft. But I'm gonna use a lot of the blue because I feel like Altus is mostly blue. He does have smidges of like white, gold, and red throughout his entire design, but I feel like blue is definitely one of the colors for him. So I want to do a good portion of our darker, more clean sketch, hopefully, in blue. But yes, the commission. So I think I have 10 ongoing, and to be honest, it is manageable for me if that's like my main focus, which is kind of the reason why I feel like the videos being only 2 times a week is going to be somewhat temporary. Unless I do end up taking more commissions, which I probably will, but I will only do it once I actually clean out this batch and, you know, everything is all good to go. Because I do have a lengthy wait list, which I feel very bad because I didn't give people like a proper timeline on when things are. But I guess like because it's a wait list, no one's really obligated, so it's kind of also a good thing. Yeah, it does make it a little bit difficult when this pencil's not super sharp. I feel like also I preferred using this Prismacolor color erase in the other sketchbook that I had. But yeah, that's kind of like the main reason. I do think probably it's going to be temporary, but for at least the entirety of right now, probably March and a good portion of April, I'm going to stick with the 2 uploads. But the thing I like about at least being able to record videos at least like fairly regularly is that it does kind of force me to draw, and you know, some people might view that as a good or a bad thing. But at least for me, I do enjoy it. It allows me to block out a little bit of time just to draw something. Mostly for like sketchbook stuff. Also, I'm not too sure if I like this pencil on here. Actually, I changed my mind. I think we're just gonna stick with the blue for now. I just won't go as hard. We'll just like fill in values and stuff for now. Because I think what we're gonna have to do is add in some ballpoint pen, and I think that's pretty much gonna be it. I'm glad to see that some of you guys are also watching District V or District 5. Oh, and one last thing before I think I won't touch upon it for the rest of the video, unless something else, like another thought occurs. But the idea of like being burnt out from making videos, at least for me, hasn't been a problem. There are only times that like I do have a bit of like regret being like, oh, I have to record a video today, that kind of stuff, is only because I probably wanted some sort of break in between, but I can't, because I do like following a schedule, and I think that's just like the type of person that I am. Other than the fact that, like I mentioned earlier, that I have a more flexible schedule than like people who work, let's say, like a normal 9 to 5. Because I don't have to, you know, clock in at a certain time. I don't have to clock out at a certain time. I don't have usually any transit or commute for work. So this gives me a lot of flexibility, which is why I always feel partly obligated to say yes to people's plans, because they're going to be like, well, you aren't busy, you know, that kind of perception. But because of that, I haven't really felt like the actual burnout part. I think it's just like a bit of reluctancy because I didn't give myself like a proper break. And I noticed that because when I was visiting like relatives for, I think it was the last few days. I think I'm only home for today and I think a few days. 3 days before recording this? 2 days before recording this, I guess. So one of those, or 2 of those days, I was playing Pokopia because it came out around that time as well. And all I wanted to do is like, why, if I have a weekend to do stuff, why can't I relax? And I think it's because like, even though I'm most likely kind of like schedule orientated, which is like, if you have something for me to do, you have to tell me in advance, because I don't like surprises for my schedule, because I do give myself like a brief layout almost of how I want the day to go in terms of what I have planned. But you know, I see people being able to take a rest and I'm like, why can't I also take a rest and just lay in my bed and play Pokopia for like 3 hours? So part of it was maybe that was like also a point. I think another one is because I wasn't home the entire, I think it was 3 to 4 days that I was gone. I did not have time to record, like just period. I wasn't at home. I didn't have my filming set up. I can't edit because technically I did have footage, or I was like in the middle of recording. So like if I had time to edit, I could have something, but there was no point of like forcing myself to find a way. Just to get something out, you know? But I didn't want this video to be only talking about this, so I think that's all I wanted to talk about in terms of like changes. Because like I said, it's probably only going to be up until maybe somewhere in April. Because I've always said like, oh, I wanted to, you know, stream more. Look what happened. Every time I say it, it's like I stream none that month. Partly because, like I said, I was just busy with stuff and there's like a lot of things that I kind of just need to tackle and finish at this point. I think I have one more project related one that I need to finish. But that one's not due until the end of this month, so I'm gonna take my time kind of going back and forth on it. That or I might knock it out all this week. Maybe I'll do that along with my commissions, because I think 80% of my commissions, so like 8 out of the 10 of them, are in rendering phase. So I just need to put in the time to actually spruce them up. I think the biggest kicker for me is the fact that I underestimated the amount of time I would need for photocard commission as well as the sketch pages. Because even though I've labeled them as like, oh, it's only one full rendered headshot, at minimum, I guess. I've been putting a lot more effort into them, so I don't know if it's something I need to pull back on, or I need to change the time and duration and maybe the price of it, because I didn't realize that many people would be interested in the sketch page. But then the amount of effort I'm putting into it, I need to check whether or not I need to fix the balance of it a little bit more, you know? So I think at this point, I can't really tell with some of the details that I've drawn here. So I might pull out my, what is it called? Unidia color. That colored lead to do some other doodles on the side. Because like I said, he has like a very cute, sparkly, smiley face. Kind of like expression that I find super adorable. I don't know if it's like his mouth shape or it's his eyes. There's just something I find very endearing. And I just like cute things, so it probably just tickles something in my brain. But I kind of want to draw that, so after we finish this one, I'll do like a little doodle right here, because I always like using the Unidia color blue lead. It's just like, it's very creamy and smooth, and it's very easy to sketch with. Also, hopefully today's like more rambly video. It's not like something weird to talk about, I guess. I do like keeping my videos typically more like lighthearted. Then again, like nothing I said technically was like very Debbie Downer per se. I think I'm just tired in general. February till March, or up until right now, it's been a little bit tiresome for many different reasons. I'm glad that Pokopia is as fun as I thought it was going to be. And I want to sink as many hours into that game as I can. Because, oh my lord, it's such a cute game. I've been seeing a lot of people like make very much like forest, cottagecore type of cities, villages, homes for the Pokemon. I do like the cottagecore one, so I want to do that for like the Withered Wastelands. I really want to make like a very pastel blue and pink kind of carrot colored seaside town, which I think could look very cute. Because now that the fact that like I finally finished like Smearguru, their quest type of thing, their requests, I guess. Because of that, I'm able to, you know, color some of the other objects or decoration. I think you can color sand too, which is like, I want to make it maybe pink sand and blue houses, or like the opposite. So I think it'll look so cute as like a pink and blue kind of like seashore, seaside kind of beach town. I've yet to kind of visit the abandoned ship, but I do want to do that eventually. Also, I find it funny. This, like I said, this is gonna be the last time probably I'll touch upon this topic. But I find it funny that occasionally I'll still get comments from people saying, oh, finally, Rin posted a video. And I'm always confused by that, because either you're excited for every video, or, excited for every video, I mean like anticipating my video upload, or because the way how the YouTube algorithm works, it doesn't always show like when videos are uploaded, right? It doesn't always give you like a push notification, even if you have like the bell or whatever it is on. Sometimes it just misses, right? I feel like some people don't know that I post 3 times a week, which I always find funny because those are what those comments kind of like remind me of. At least it gives me the time to work in my sketchbook a little bit, because I've always said that pencil or like traditional medium, traditional sketching is kind of like one of my favorite ways just to sketch. Because if I have a bad traditional art sketch in my sketchbook, we're not getting rid of it. Sometimes like I do cover them either with like acrylic paint, a sticky note, sticker paper, whatever. But most likely I'll just like, you know, either try to fix it. If I can, I'll just like move on. When it comes to like digital, there are times that I just delete the entire canvas and like no one's gonna see it. But I don't think, not in like recent years for sure, and not for like on purpose trying to find scrap paper that I need and all I have is like my sketchbook, so I'll like tear out a sheet. I don't typically tear out drawings out of my sketchbook for the purpose of like not liking it, if that makes sense. There's like other circumstances where I had to like tear out a sheet because either somebody needed like a piece of paper to write down a phone number or something like that. It was easier for me to just rip it out because I used to carry my sketchbook around a little bit more often. But I just like being able to feel a little bit less pressure. I don't know if it's because I treat my sketches in my sketchbook a little bit more loose and have the understanding that, oh, it's like, you know, sketchbook, you don't get the rotate, you can't zoom in, you can't undo, redo. So maybe I do give myself a little bit more leeway when it comes to drawing in my sketchbook or like sketching and all that stuff. So, you know, I feel a little bit less bad of, or like not in a bad mindset of wanting to be like, you have to scrap it. I've always liked this combination though, the red and the blue, but it was mostly because I was trying to emulate the blue and red pencil from the Pilot Color, you know? I think I just liked the colors that were cute, but the pink was a little bit too fluorescent, and obviously the light blue is very like cyan, very yellowy green kind of esque. And I think more recently I've been gravitating towards like more warmer colors. But if you're one of my commissioners, I promise I'm still working on your commissions. Or if you're like, you're on my wait list, it's coming soon. I might open my wait list back open. Not back open. I might select people from my wait list after March is over, because com prep needs to take a bit of a priority because I have done very little prep because I've been just too busy focusing on too many other things. So there's a lot of catch up that I kind of need to do. Do we still want to add like a ballpoint pen? I might, but Pokopia has been like very fun. It's definitely like the game that I've always wanted in more recent years, because I loved Animal Crossing. I know people said it's supposed to be like Dragon Quest Builders. I have no idea what that game looks like, or like the gameplay or anything, so I'm sure it's like very close to what it is because it's the same developers and probably the same premise. But for me, it does feel like an Animal Crossing Minecraft, and the way how the quests or like the request banner, I guess, pop up that appears at the top that's like in the green lettering, it's very Fantasy Life to me. It sounds a little bit like Fantasy Life too. That, or I'm just like misremembering, which is totally possible. Also, song-wise, I've been kind of like switching back and forth nowadays between 2 different songs. Tiny Light by 17, which is like the B-Stars. I don't know if it's the ending or it's the opening. For the new B-Stars, 17 got to do a either ending or opening. I don't remember which for the new season, which is wonderful because I think Uzi is a fan of that series. But also, I've been listening to Virtual to Live again. My go-to is like always the Lazulite one, because it's like my first time listening to it was during that time, and I would like religiously listen to only that song when I did my first Odafest, I think, convention. After, I think, a few years of not being able to participate in it, I think. That or was like Anime-Phone, I forget which one it was specifically. But I've been listening to it because of the District V. The opening kind of like title or like loading screen for it is Virtual to Live in like a instrumental-ish kind of version. And then when they had like their talent show for one of the events for the server, someone did like such a beautiful piano cover to virtual to live. I actually cried. I don't know if it's because the type of song it is on the piano. It felt very like sentimental and very nostalgic, so I ended up crying watching that one. Because like Dweemer, such a funny character. Kind of want to watch it, as well as like maybe Calix's stream as Kyle, because I didn't get that much POV other than clips and stuff of like the bachelors, and I love their dynamic. But I think me reducing, wow, I actually do keep talking about this topic more than I would like to, but me reducing the videos to being only 2 times a week, hopefully I can get back on track with actually doing live streams again. That's kind of another priority I want to get back into, because I like drawing with you guys live. I think it's kind of fun, and I can get like a decent amount of stuff done as well, as long as I pre-plan. Like I did a while ago, I did like so many VTuber drawings. But I want to finish all the whip checks, so work in progress checks, up until the rendering phase for every commission that I have. And I have one more, that's a set of 2 that I need to send out, because I need to do the rough colors, and then I can send that for whip check, and then we can basically go full into rendering for the last remaining commission. My goal is to get some prints done before the convention, because I print the prints all on my own at home. I don't really have to have like wait time between like manufacturers and stuff. I do have to get some photocards in, but it's also not the end of the world. I can technically print them myself as well, but I might be drawing prints and like sticker designs up until the very last day. So it'd be kind of fun maybe to do a live stream or 2 of me working on some illustrations, because I would love to do some first stage production stickers now that I know more than just the first gen. So I think that's something I forgot to talk about like entirely, because I went on a different topic. The only people I watched in FSP for the very beginning was, I think it's Cass and Gail were the ones that I ended up watching. I have a lot of ideas. Like I said, the thing I'm missing right now is I need more time, and I'm giving myself more time now. So I might do that in advance for this one too, so we can just leave the bottom as more of like just our white. So unfortunately, when I'm doing this part, I'm a little too free. I'm gonna be flipping and spinning and turning my sketchbook willy-nilly. Core Keeper was one of the games I wanted to get my friends in, and she played it very briefly with me one time, like literally an hour, and she couldn't get like a grasp of the game because it was so short, so she just joined like one of my pre-made files. I suggested like starting a whole new file so that she can get a gist of the game, and I think I got her hooked to it, which was nice. But that's like a nice game that I can play with her, that if my other friend's not available. But because of that, it's the same thing. I don't call it quits. So if my friend wants to stop playing, she will say. Because I hate being the person to cut things early, but I think it's to my own detriment. Making the Patreon rewards. So stickers usually is not a problem, but I have to do prints. I do note paper, I do a die cut, and I do sticker sheet of some sort. But then printing and doing that also takes a long time. It's just like things are just piling up. So that's why I'm saying like the last few months have been a little bit hectic. So hopefully by May will be probably a closer guarantee. Well, I guess there's no guarantees, but probably the closest time that I can say that maybe I'll return back to doing 3 videos. But for now, we're just gonna do 2. This is what I'm talking about. I can't have no interruptions. I have to take a small break to do a small interruption. But for some reason, yeah, this expression is just so cute. I think when I was looking at like what types of games and stuff has he played or types of streams, I see this face a lot for the thumbnails. It just looks very cute in my opinion. Oh, I'm like low-key locked into the sketching. Become more quiet. Also, I think because I got most of like the rambliness out of me in the first part. Because depending on how I edit this, how much of the rambling will stay in. Once I finish kind of just blocking in kind of like the lighter sketch, then we can start darkening things up. Is it because like his little teeth are like, they're much more placed closer together for like the little fangs? I've also recently learned about Zenraged, which I think is Altus and Nayuta's, I think it's ship name? So apparently he's very fond of Nayu, which I find very cute. Get back just the normal headshot so I can actually see his hair. I feel like I'm drawing their hairline a little higher than usual. Or maybe it was fine. Maybe I lowered it too much. I think it's hard for me to dislike a VTuber's design. I don't know if it's because there's so much going on or I don't have like an eye for design. So many VTubers are just like very aesthetically pleasing. You can do like excited, kind of like closed fists. Other than like Danhung and like Flynn's, because they have it like tied back. But even like for females or more feminine looking characters, I don't think I've drawn that many that have long hair recently. Maybe it's because like it's mostly Genshin or Star Rail. A lot of them have their hair like somewhat tied up. So having him kind of almost have this pin straight dark hair. It's nice to draw. But back to talking about like VTuber designs, I feel like that's like another reason why I love drawing fan art of them. Even just like gacha characters I feel like have fallen into this design where a lot of it doesn't make sense sometimes. There's like a lot of details, but at least like it makes it fun to draw for the most part. So like doing photo cards or like stickers of the characters. I definitely want to make some photo cards. I don't know if I'll do any for stage projections per se. I might stick the chibis for now. Maybe I'll make them happier. I think this way. Because of the sparkle, it does kind of get rid of the iris a little bit. Oh, that's better. Kind of just looks like the way how I do my derp eyes with making the center completely blank. I was talking about streaming earlier. I think it could be fun to do some of these boys as maybe some sort of illustration. Maybe I'll do photo cards. I think it could be cute. Or that way I can make like a new set of stickers. I just don't have an idea for what I want to do for a pose per se, unless I want to do the little pondering chibis that I've been doing more recently. Pretty design. Not enough to entice me to watch the person. I was telling this to my friend because my friend was like, didn't you watch Ike? Because he was like my type in terms of like character aesthetic, and technically yes, but if I had to think about like the types of like games and stuff that he played, they were a little bit more up my alley, or like maybe just the way he approached the games. Because that's the thing, it's like if I have to watch somebody their content or have them in the background, I have to find it enjoyable, right? Because I'm not going to be looking at the screen the entire time, so just because if you have a pretty face doesn't mean you're gonna be my Oshi. But obviously like, there's like pretty much like a VTuber probably for everybody out there. Okay, I think kind of salvaged him a little bit. I hope I don't have any drawings that I'm leaking on the other side being pressed into the back, because there should be no like dry medium that's still able to kind of budge and move. See, what is this? I can't even interpret my own lines. Definitely felt a little bit smoother in that other sketchbook, but I think it can be fixed if I place something a little bit more harder or stiff underneath this paper. I think because it's squishing into the other paper, it's making everything a little bit more softer. So luckily I don't think this lead's broken, so we can just continue to use it. I feel like these leads are pretty sturdy. Pelican is definitely a little bit softer. Also, another thing about Popopia, because it's on my brain right now, is even though it's like a very chill, you can go very slow. I probably would recommend it like that, but I enjoyed it so much. I was playing it a lot the first 2 days, but then also, actually, where's his arms? Where's his hands? I need to see if I can find a higher res. Oh wait, now I see his hands. Dang, I drew his hands here wrong then. So I'm assuming this is inside, this is outside. Wait. Oh, I see. This is the same hand. So he does have like a kind of maybe imitated on the side. It's kind of like this. And then he has like a thumb ring. I think I took my time to look at it a little more closely. I thought it was 2 hands like this. But no, it's like front and back for the left and then front and back for the right. I did that the opposite way, but you know. So his pointer finger and his thumb. This one you can't really see the... I'm interested in trying some of the other ones from this. Because the red one has a little bit more of that orangey tinge to it. I'm trying to like even out his jaw. But I think because sometimes I'm in like this sketching mood, I don't do full justice, especially for like their, what is it called? Outfits. I'm trying to think what's the most like, of the ones that I watched, who's the most simple to draw? I don't know if I can pinpoint one person. I would say like B2B has like, or BTB, not B2B, BTB. Their designs are pretty okay, but they have a lot of like accessories. But I'm always like amazed by looking at the designs of like VTubers. Uni Nano Dial Color. I will always forget one section of that name every time, no matter what. I feel like the green from that one is a little bit more on the cooler side as well. And I've used the palette color Eno, and I'm pretty sure that's also on the cooler side. I want something like almost, what's a nice green color name? Can't really think of it, but it's like more slightly leaning towards like yellow, right? The design and patterning on his outfit would be a nightmare to do though. And he has feathers. Man. Oh, he has feathers on both sides. Dang, dude. His little, I was gonna say mascots, but I guess it's like the fan mascots for him. Adventurers? Adzennies? They're so cute. The thing is, it's like I downloaded references from Twitter and then some from just Googling them. and they saved them in different spots on my phone, so I often have to keep panning back and forth. I kind of want to use a yellow to embellish, but I think we can just use red to kind of like tie up this spread together. But tiny light from no, I just got this page. It's been a while since I've done that. I'm usually very careful. Other than like when I'm erasing with a kneaded eraser, sometimes I do accidentally lift the page and it crumples. I add a little bit of red in some places, just for extra detail. Let's make his nose a little bit darker. And then obviously his little Oni horn. This is probably another rambly sketch with me. Hope you guys don't mind. I think... Let's see, is that it? He's like little tassels as well, but they're really covered here. Also, we got snow again. I'm so mad. I want to have no snow. It was so warm for like a few days. Then it got windy, and the wind turned to hail, and then snow. I'm seeing where I kind of stylized certain things versus how his actual design is. The little ear vents, I guess, for his head, his hair. I drew them a bit too tall. Because of that, some of these areas also sit a little bit too high. But hopefully the camera's doing this justice. I know it's not going to be reading the right color. But I really like how smooth this color can be. I have to put a little bit more effort, but to get it to the darkness that I want, but it kind of works out. Yeah, so I don't know if these guys, both Nayu, which I would like to, I might doodle him. We'll see. Because I didn't really talk about like the type of people I like to watch. I like anyone who either chants or rambles a little bit, because I find whatever they talk about very interesting, regardless of the topic, you know? That or like, they're just very easy to listen to. Because I can't imagine watching somebody that maybe if you didn't enjoy how they sound or how they talk, it might be a little bit hard for you to consume their content, I'm assuming. But so far, like, vibe-wise, I do like both of them. Both Nayu and Altus. So I kind of want to do some fan art in the future. I don't know if it'll be stuff like I'll post and tag. Maybe I'll just draw it for myself in my sketchbook like this. We'll see. And we'll see if this is just like a phase that I'm still haven't come down from the RP server. But I think I'm gonna leave this one here like this. I'll do a little overview of everything since today's sketches are more on the simple side. I'm a little bit iffy about him, but you know, this one's cute at least. So, I think this is it for today's very simple sketchbook session. I do want to do a few more like longer sessions again. Just because it is a little bit more relaxing for myself as well. I'm gonna label the day. Yeah, so here's a little bit of Altus. I will attempt to draw some of the other boys like at a different time. I don't know if I'll do like actual official fan art of them or if I'm just gonna doodle them like I did here. But this is kind of fun. I do want to use my Prismacolor Kohl Erase definitely a lot more. So I'll see if there's like ways that I can probably keep this in my pencil case without making things too muddy or dirty again. But yeah, it was kind of just fun to sketch with them and then bring a ballpoint pen maybe to spruce up some sketches. I think that's it for today's video. There's like another page I have to fill out eventually, but I think for today, that is all for the sketchbook session. So thanks for sticking around, and also for your kind comments in the community tab. I should have said that at the very beginning because I know not everyone watches until the very end, but thank you for being understanding about just like I guess it's a kind of like a minor change to the channel. But hopefully one day I'll get back to posting probably 3 times. We'll see, because I do enjoy making videos and just sharing our progress with you guys. So we'll see when I can get back to that more efficiently and when I'm a little bit less busy. But I'll leave you guys here for now, and I'll talk to you guys next time in the next video. Bye!